1859 to 1863 Federal Government Files, Chapter 11 Bankruptcy Number 2, via the Constitution of the United States of America. Lincoln also funded the Rothschild instigated and mostly funded Civil War with greenbacks and by issuing war bonds, T-bills, etc., which essentially put the national Confederate government into bankruptcy February 25, 1863. The de facto in fact, or in effect, whether by right or not, corporate U.S. government in Washington, D.C. begins with the Gettysburg Address in 1864, thereby reforming it into a federal government. One of the funding schemes used was the so-called 1040 bonds. These bonds were to run not less than 10 years, nor more than 40 years at 7.13% interest. To collect the interest on these 1040 bonds, a Form 1040 was used by the government. By 1864, the value of these bonds had dropped to 39 cents on the dollar. In 1861, to collect the interest on those 1040 bonds, Congress created the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Do you think that was just a coincidence? Do you think that maybe the interest was never paid, and we are still using the form today to pay it? The original Union of the Several States Government in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania files Chapter 11 giving ownership of all Confederate government assets to the international bankers. To handle this bankruptcy, the Comptroller of the Treasury was created in 1863. What does a comptroller do? He is charged with certain duties in relation to the fiscal affairs of the government, primarily to examine and audit the accounts of collectors of the public money, to keep records and report the financial situation from time to time. But the term we are concerned with is comptroller in bankruptcy. Comptroller in bankruptcy. An officer whose duty it is to receive from the trustee in each bankruptcy his accounts and periodical statements showing the proceedings in the bankruptcy, and also to call the trustee to account for any misfeasance, neglect, or omission in the discharge of his duties. Bouvier's Law Dictionary 1914 edition. So if the government is bankrupt, who is the trustee? This is answered for us by Congressional Record March 17, 1993. Volume 33, page 1303. The following is from that record. Mr. Trafficant asked and was given permission to revise and expand his remarks. Mr. Trafficant. Mr. Speaker, we are here now in Chapter 11. Members of Congress are official trustees presiding over the greatest reorganization of any bankrupt entity in world history, the U.S. government. The United States government is in bankruptcy and Congress are the trustees. It is a legal maxim that a bankrupt is civilly dead. That means that Congress cannot legally make positive law in bankruptcy because they have no legal standing. The Confederate government and then federal government have been in Chapter 11 bankruptcy from 1789 to today and sits at the pleasure of the commander-in-chief, waiting to do his bidding.